Acacia McBride is a model, blogger, and influencer with over 80,000 followers on Instagram. She's been seen as the face of Fashion Nova Beauty and is even a finalist for this year's Sports Illustrated Swim Search contest. But behind the glitz and the glam lies another attribute, a big heart for her little brother Micah. Micah is on the autism spectrum, which she said wasn't always something she felt comfortable talking publicly about.
This wasn't always something that I was like on a billboard to talk about. And I'm now stepping to this space where I'm highlighting that and showing that. I've always been behind the scenes.
But with the help of her family, Acacia co-founded Micah's Walk for Autism, a nonprofit organization committed to providing a wide array of services and opportunities to individuals with autism spectrum disorder, as well as those with intellectual, developmental, and cognitive disabilities.
So Micah's Walk for Autism was inspired by my little brother's diagnosis. Of course, his name is Micah. And my mother and I co-founded this nonprofit in 2017. So we kind of just came together, and we've been doing this forever, but we were like, let's make this official and let's put it out there that this is something that we're doing and that this is something that we're not only doing, but we're passionate about it and we have a connection with it.
Acacia's family has always been supportive of her goals, with her high-achieving mom, Christy, being a nurse, a father from the military, and brother Darius, who's a teacher.
My father was in the military. My mother, who is a nurse, she is the primary caretaker of my little brother. And then also my older brother, who is a behavioral analyst. So he's worked with children with autism. He's also worked with children who's been physically, mentally, and sexually abused. Currently, he's working as a 5th grade teacher. So he kind of helps out as far as, being able to provide those services.
But despite each family member's individual skills, Micah's upbringing was a team effort with all hands on deck.
I had to help my mother raise my little brother. Here I am as a child learning about his IEP and learning about different therapies, being able to be like a vessel or being able to help, children and families who are affected by the spectrum really inspired the nonprofit. And so I'm telling my mom, like, hey, let's do it.
The McBride family banded together to make a change in their home state of Mississippi, a much welcomed and needed influence on the community, which Acacia says has very few resources compared to other states.
So why keep the charity there, and what does it mean to that community out there?
We're based in Mississippi only because Mississippi is the poorest state in our country, and it also, between Mississippi and Arkansas, we kind of shift between last as far as education. So this really highlighted to me the fact that we don't have enough funding, we don't have enough resources. It's not even a good place to raise a child who isn't on the spectrum. And so that's kind of what highlighted, this is something that really needs to be talked about. And this is something that we need to come together and be like a dot connector for where those resources are. The 501 is registered in Mississippi, but we're everywhere there needs to be help.
Despite the charity's immense efforts in Mississippi, there were still times where Acacia recalls a barrier between those who didn't understand the cause.
Okay, my little brother is not understood by people. They don't get him. They don't know what autism is. Do you have any core memory that you can think of where that really shifted for you?
I have so many, actually. There was a lot of challenging moments. He was nonverbal for a really long time. And so I explained to a lot of people that I can only imagine how that feels. It's like having an itch that you can't scratch. So there was quite some times where he would throw temper tantrums and I would just go like, oh my gosh, like, what do we do? It looks as if there's a child that needs to be disciplined or there's a child that's just unruly. And so, of course, that was the most challenging part, and just partnering with him to see, okay, how are we going to communicate? It's taught me patience overall.
When Acacia's career as a model and influencer took off, she says sharing her brother on social media brought unwelcome attention and even hate, which she said she had to overcome.
I definitely have gotten some comments. There would be comments where they would be like, oh, like, why is he doing this? And there was a point where I kind of stopped posting him because I was like, I can't really handle this. There would be like subtle, passive microaggressions. As I got older, I realized that when you put things out there with intention, that's what I'm putting out there. So if you take it any other way, that's on you.
It was patience and perseverance that allowed McBride to continue her work with Micah's Walk for Autism, holding events such as charity balls, basketball and softball tournaments, and annual town festivals.
Do you have a favorite out of all the events you guys have done?
Oh, I do actually. So we had a partnership with the Mississippi Braves, which is a minor league to like the Atlanta Braves baseball organization. We had our t-shirts, our Micah's Walk for Autism t-shirts, and they've been such an amazing help. I think that the thing that really touched me was being able to have Micah in the audience and just to kind of take that experience in. I feel like their social life sometimes gets to be a little tricky because we think, okay, they're autistic, they can't do X, Y, and Z. And so Micah has been really interested in like going to sporting events.
Micah's Walk for Autism has been a huge success in Mississippi, and Acacia has continued her advocacy in her now home of Los Angeles and has a newfound passion for sharing her work with her loyal Instagram audience. She says the messages she's received have now been overwhelmingly positive.
Recently, Micah just went to prom, which I think I was more excited about than him, and I have been for years. I've had a lot of people reach out just talking about how their son is about to go to prom or is about to go to the 11th grade, and they were like, I never considered him going to prom until now. And so I think that's the most heartwarming part, is that people can kind of see it but also live through him. It's like, no, actually, that's his right to be able to go and try to have whatever social life he wants to have.
If you could tell anybody who might be listening to this message or following you or any member of your audience, one takeaway that you want them to have, what would be that lesson that you want to teach?
To dispel the stigma. A lot of people are not as knowledgeable or are maybe very shameful to either say that they are on the spectrum or to say that they have a child or sibling. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if anything, they have different interests. I know a lot of autistic children are really good with numbers, or they have a really great memory. Some of them are into music or into arts and entertainment. And so I really want to highlight that. And I want other people to do that as well. And that's why I do it.
No matter how many followers she gains or how many beauty campaigns she books, there's one special person whose attention matters to her the most: her little brother, Micah.
I'm a model and influencer and so many other different things. Of all the things that I've had the privilege to do, being a big sister has been the most rewarding in life. That's like the beauty of all of this. It's just being able to inspire other people. When he sees me in my dress, he continues to call me like princess. He's my favorite person ever. Yeah, so he's like, it's a princess. But I think there are moments where he's like, okay, you're my big sister. Like, that's great. And then he's back on his phone. I think he thinks I'm cool, hopefully.